There's a saying, don't be penny wise and pound foolish.
Expound. Mimi ni Meru.
We were chased down the hill, down the forest with a chainsaw. I got into quail farming.
Oh,
Feel free to laugh at me.
Wewe
This is
ni
the point where you
mmoja.
laugh at me. I'm an RQF, recovering quail farmer. After like 6 months, nilipata kibao imeandikwa land for sale. Africa imports $30 billion worth of food per year. Africa. Why don't we believe in intra-Africa trade? I was a slaking farmer.
Hey.
I didn't want to do what every other farmer was doing, planting maize and managu and bananas. We were kicked out with a panga, literally. Tulifukuzwa kama mbwa. Nyeri County where I come from, tunakulanga cabbage. Cabbage is actually a luxury. We feed our cows with terere and managu. Those are weeds. We don't eat weeds in Central Kenya.
Na utaambiwa vitu kuihusu kabla uinunue. Utaambiwa hii sasa imetoka Italy. Hii ni noma hii.
French Alpine. French Alpine inatoa lita ngapi? Nafanya vidole hivi lita ngapi? 4. Think of leasing land first. After umelease, so what I've been doing is for the last 12 years, nimekuwa nikiweka pesa kando. Silent taingia uko Kimana, kama ni Kimana Mungu atanibariki. I'm doing not less than 30 acres. Greenhouse farming has become a beauty contest. Farming has become a beauty contest. Who has the best, most modern, good-looking greenhouse? If you see someone talking about greenhouses too much, they sell greenhouse. Hiyo ndio kazi yao. Ni maburoka wa greenhouse wanataka kukuzia the unit.
They are going to come after you after this.
No, it's okay. Let them come to me. Nimetukanwa kwa DM zangu nilizoea. And that's why I've not gotten a gig to push greenhouse farming. Sijaipata hiyo gig. Every excavator in this country is going to be leased by the government. Ienda ichimbia watu madams and ponds across the country 3 months before the drought, 3 months before hata mvua inyeshe.
Hii time yote tumekuwa tukilia.
Singekuwa
zinachimbo.
I mean, sorry.
Usikasirike. Tell the avocado people something.
What avocado? the fear of avocado is what? Ikodofia. Every excavator in this country is going to be leased by the government. Ienda ichimbia watu madams and ponds across the country 3 months before the drought, 3 months before hata mvua inyeshe.
Hii time yote tumekuwa tukilia. Singekuwa zinachimbo.
I mean, sorry.
Usikasirike. Welcome once again to Murume's Pointing Point. This is the show where we try and sit down experts in various fields and we try to extract that beautiful gold information from them ndio tuweze at least kujengana hapa hivi. Tulisema hii mwaka ni story na kujengana. So, karibuni sana. First of all, we are shooting this at Dasbayan. Dasbayan is an amazing place. There's a restaurant, there's a bar, there's a gym, there are offices. It's just a cool place to come and hang out and, you know, release that stress. Also, thank you to our sponsor, Autobrand, ambao ni wauzaji hatari sana wa magari. Anytime you feel like you need to trade up your car or, you know, buy another one, talk to these guys. All right? Now, hii episode niko na mtu ambaye, guys, this is a hero, the CEO of Wendy Farm. Atueleze safari imekuwa aje na venye ilienda na venye ilianza na mahali imefika saa hii. Karibu sana bwana Caleb Karuga.
Thank you so much, Jasper, for the heartwarming welcome.
Yes. I remember one time I'm watching news and all of a sudden the person that has been giving us the news is in the news now as an item. Sasa yeye ndiye anaongelelewa kwa news. Kwa nini? Because ameamua kuachana na news aingie kwa farming. Now, kama unajua kuna kuanga na kakalisha fulani Kenya, watu wanasema huu ukulima ni ushamba. That's what we've been trying to fight all this time. Unasikia ukulima si ushamba. Na akatoka na akasukuma hiyo agenda and I can assure you things are not going very bad hata ukimwangalia. So karibu sana CEO wa Wendy Farms.
Yes.
Wendy Farms. Mbona uliamua Wendy si jina ya ile agenda ingine?
Yes, it is. The idea was to not have a typical Kikuyu name.
Okay. The Karuga Farm.
and Sons.
Karuga and Sons.
Yeah.
CEO of Wende Farms, ladies and gentlemen. Karibu sana.
Nashukuru.
It's such an honor to have you. I've always wanted to sit you down and ask you questions. So asante sana. I respect that.
Nashukuru.
Sasa mimi swali yangu ya kwanza. Uliamua kuingia kwa farming kwa sababu ni rahisi ama ni ati ni nini?
If I take you back, to mix Kiswahili ama Kizungu ama ni mix.
Wewe cheza kiwewe. Hawa ni Wakenya tunaongea na mama.
All right. So I'll take you a few years back. When I got into media, sikuingia media because that was my passion. Niliingia media because I wanted to pay bills.
Uliingia kazi.
Niliingia kazi mimi. Actually, how I got the job is, if you have time, it's a very interesting how I got that job.
We have time.
That time, K24, if I may mention, it was opening, and I was working in another church. Rather, not working because I was not being paid.
Okay.
I was a cameraman kwa kanisa ingine.
Okay.
So kuna academic receptionist kalikuwa kananiona. So she told me where she works, they're opening a TV station and they are looking, of course, for cameramen. So if I'm interested, I go and apply. Now, take you back a few years back, I had quit campus. I was pursuing my degree in IT.
Yes.
Mimi nikasema hapana.
Ukasema mimi hapa naona kama nawekwa sana.
Hapana. Because I got a job as the head web designer when I was in my first year.
So now you're also a web designer?
Yes, I'm a web designer by profession and programming. So nikasema hii si lazima nimalize campus. At the end of the day we want to get a job. Si niko na job niko first year. I quit. So fast forward and K24 was starting, so I went for the interview. Mind you, in a CV, I'm a half-baked graduate.
Yes.
So I went to the interview room.
Uko na skill.
Niko na skill mimi. Lakini makaratasi sina. So I go to the reception and I found, ushaona mwanaume amechongwa ndevu vizuri na kasuti na katai. Unaona yenyewe hapa sitoshi mboga. Pun intended. And it's okay. Because I do not want to be in front of the screen. I want to be a cameraman. Cameramen don't appear in front of the screen. So long story short, I was in jeans and a t-shirt and sandals. Nikaingia kwa interview room and I remember Wahoo, the singer, was one who was interviewing me.
Okay.
So Wahoo asked me, so we don't have enough time, young man. So imagine you're the report on scene and there is a fracas between the police, city council police and the hawkers. You are live in 5, 4, 3. I froze. I froze. I was like, whoa. So I didn't think they were recording. I said, oh, by the way, I didn't come here to be a reporter. I came here to be a cameraman. I should be the guy behind that camera. So the lady was like, Wahoo was like, so tell us more about yourself. Mimi nikaropokwa. Mimi nikamwambia, because either way I'm not going to get this job. Once you get the reporters you're going to get, please let these people tell us the untold African story. Let them go to their mashinani. We are tired of watching politics. We are tired of watching day in, day out, no more stories. Give us documentaries, stories that I as a mwananchi wa kawaida can relate with. Nikaropokwa zangu and I walked out because I knew yenyewe hapa nimefail.
Wacha tu niwaachie my peace of mind.
Wisdom iko nayo mtati. And I walked out. 1 week later, Eric Latif calls me. And he said, but they had done another show. I'd recorded the Miss Kenya finals. We still those four most beautiful girls that year. I covered the finals, the grand finale. So I got some cameramen tukashoot kitu with the Venice production na tukapatia the franchise owner. So that's the DVD I brought as my CV because mimi sina makaratasi, but I can shoot, I can edit, I can script. So akaniambia, if you are the one with that thing, you are the one who shot it and edited it, you have a job. And that's how I got a job.
Wakwambia wewe kuja ufanyange hivyo
cameraman. Lakini one day we went and shot a story in Nyeri County in Othaya of illegal logging. And my reporter, because I was the cameraman, my reporter, we were chased down the hill, down the forest with a chainsaw. So me, I was recording all that time. It was just an amazing footage. Nakimbizwa mimi niko pale, I'm telling my reporter, give me a sign out, say something, give me a mid cue, give me something.
Na mnafukuzwa.
Na tunafukuzwa saa hiyo. Adrenaline, and you're a cameraman, you don't want to miss this opportunity. So when you brought the footage back to the studio, people were like, whoa, this is just amazing footage. So the guy was like, have you done this for many years? Like, no, I have not gone to school, but this is what I can do. Like from now onwards, you're no longer a studio cameraman, you're a field reporter stroke cameraman. I'm like, no.
How am I going to do both of those?
I can't do that. I'm a cameraman. So last story, then we come back to farming so that you see the transition.
Yeah.
So I was covering a story of a blind farmer in Murang'a County. So I went, shot it, scripted it, edited it, vizuri. But since I don't voice stories, maybe see reporter, I got my colleague to voice my story. You see why this is connecting.
Yes.
So after it was voiced, Eric Latif comes and looked at the story. He's like, okay, beautiful story. Why am I not hearing your voice? Why am I hearing a lady's voice? I said, you know,
Me, I'm a cameraman.
I'm a cameraman. Mimi si mtu wa kufanya hizi vitu.
The story is mine.
The story is mine, sikatai, but I'm happy. Si mnanilipa.
Yes.
He deleted the entire audio. Sema, go to the booth and
Voice
your own story. I begged, please, do not ever make me voice stories or be seen on screen. He's like, hiyo ni yako. Story number 1 today. Enda. And that's how I ended up voicing stories and being seen on screen.
Ukavoice hiyo na ukazidi.
Na nikaendelea kutoka pale. But along now my journey
now you are a reporter now.
Now I'm a reporter now, a forced reporter. That was not my passion, honestly.
Yeah.
So along the journey as a reporter, I got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly of Africa.
Yeah.
From the politics to the manufacturing industry to farming to everything. And my heart was bleeding for farmers.
Yeah.
Because you go interview a farmer and they have lost the entire crop. They didn't have crop insurance.
Yeah.
Or you interview another farmer, they're doing so well, they sold tomatoes and wamenunua pick-up mzima pale.
And they are the majority.
Yeah. So from these smallholder farmers, I wanted to be like them, but better.
Okay.
Like, because I've interviewed people for 6 years.
You've seen the problem.
I've seen the problem.
And you
the
feel
problem
like there's a solution.
There's a gap somewhere.
Yeah.
Ninaweza ingia hapa, nikipenya hapa because niko na wisdom.
Yeah.
I'll be better than all of you.
Yes.
Or rather, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Because I have traveled across Africa, from Angola, Cameroon, all these many countries.
But you always remember not to say.
Yes.
You don't say.
No. The reason why I'm saying all these countries. Why I got into farming actually, and why I'm insisting all these countries I went to. I went and I did a story about farmers in Angola. A tray of eggs back in 2010 or 11 rather was going for 1,000 Kenya shillings. One tray of eggs, 30 eggs.
In
Angola. Actually, petrol is cheaper than water, bottle of water. Yes, in Angola. Luanda, the capital, is the most, at that time for like 3 years, was the most expensive city in the world. Apa Angola too, chini. Sasa the country. So that alone made me like, whoa, I can actually produce chicken and export them to Angola.
Yes.
That's why I started farming in 2011 rather. Because niko na mchechemuko, I'm buoyed up.
Nimeona market.
And nimeona market. So I want to be different. I don't want to farm like other farmers. And that's where the need to resign ilianza.
One day you woke up.
One day I woke up and I said, today I'm going to resign. But it wasn't working. Because, and most people who are listening to us, you are tired of your current workplace.
Yeah.
You want to change, you want to resign, you're tired. I've just seen a message from LinkedIn, someone saying, I want to quit business, employment and get into farming.
Yeah.
But the courage to hand in your letter, hapo ndipo panakuwa difficult.
Hapo hakuna mchezo.
So I think I took like 3 or 4 months. Then one day, siku moja ya masiku, the company was downsizing. And 72 of us, one morning, we were declared redundant. One morning.
Mukapigwa panga.
72 of us. Now, mind you, I started farming in 2011. This is 2013.
Yes.
I wanted to go off media.
So by now you had already started farming.
I started farming. It was kind of making business sense. And I was loving it.
Yes.
So I thought I can actually spend more time at the farm and make more money.
So by the time they're declaring you redundant,
mimi pesa inaingia huko. My side hustle is
very
now
nice.
My main actually.
Now I have time.
So I remember when we were being given the letters, me I was smiling. Tulikuwa Lilian Towers, tulikuwa tunaita kichinjio. Sasa ulikuwa unapata barua. Unaambiwa sign hapa.
Naambia hizi kampuni hizi.
Alafu alikuwa ametutafutia counselor. You know,
don't worry, this is not the end of life.
This is not the end of life. You can still pick yourself up.
Yeah.
So when walikuwa na malone.
When things get okay, we are going to call you back.
Wapi. So when you walikuwa na loan, watu walikuwa mpaka na negative because people had taken out loans for vehicles and what have you. Anyway, so I got my check, deposited it, and went straight to the farm. And that was one of the happiest days of my life. Because I didn't have the courage to be kicked out, to resign. Now I've been kicked out.
Yeah.
So what do we do next now? Now let's get into farming. Now because I had about 1.2 million after me deduct whatever they were deducting, I thought this is enough money to like play around and get into farming.
Yeah.
There's a saying, don't be penny wise and pound foolish.
Expound. Mimi ni Meru.
Penny is the one of the least valuable money currency.
Yeah.
But pound, of course, is more expensive or more valuable than the penny.
So,
say it again. Sense. So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. So ni kama ile huna mapesa, uko na masenti, you are very wise. Wewe ile umesota, manze wewe unajua unaweka mikakati.
Na hivyo ndivyo tunakuanga
hivyo. When you are broke,
unipatie 20,000.
Hata sio 20 hata
10,000.
Nimeomoka mimi.
Nienda ninunue mkokoteni. Nianze hivyo. Nichukue kaloni niongezee mkokoteni zikuwe 5. Mikokoteni 6, si mimi niko sawa?
Niko sawa. Unakuanga wise. You are penny wise.
Acha ushike 200,000.
Wacha ufike 200,000. Unapiga mresh ni aje? Tokezea uko wapi? Uba. Kwani tu wapi 3,000 ukuja wewe. So I was the time I didn't have money, I was a very wise man.
Yeah.
But now that pounds or the millions have come, I have money. I was getting into projects that didn't make business sense. For example, I got into quail farming. Feel free to laugh at me. This is the point where you laugh at me. I'm an RQF, recovering quail farmer. I got into catfish farming in a greenhouse.
Okay.
Because we were supposed to export, in quotes, to the Congo. I got into cauliflower and broccoli farming. These unique crops and things, because I was a slaking farmer. I didn't want to do what every other farmer was doing, planting maize and managu and bananas. Come on, nimetoka media. I'm a former journalist.
You're smart.
Sinikwambia wisdom.
Akili mtu wangu.
Akili wapi? So I was getting into this project because I wanted to be the unique farmer. Because I have seen and I've covered for 6 years the problems of the African farmer. So I think I have a solution. Now, what I didn't look out for that time was farmers who are grounded, farmers ambao wamebobea katika hiyo sector, who can teach me. Young man, sit down, wacha mioto. Relax man, wacha tukupeleke na form. This is how it's done. So all these projects, I lost a lot of money in all these projects because I wanted to be unique. And there's nothing wrong with being unique, but be unique with wisdom. So my need to get into farming was just to produce good quality food. I don't like junking, so I wanted to do kienyeji chicken, large scale, just to feed people and make some profit out of it. So that's how it started.
So ukabaki na poultry. So
we need 2 days for this. So now I was doing chicken, I was doing pigs. I started with not a feather, but I started with 1 cock and 2 hens. Like, on a serious note, people think it's a joke. So it was 1 jogo and 2 hens. And I had 3 pigs at that time. Of course, they expand after that. And the journey was interesting because I was employed until 2013. So before I was fired, I was having challenges with employees. Umejaza kuku kama 500 pale na unaendelea kuongeza. Wakitaka mayai, you are not the one who collected the eggs. So you'd be told today to collect 10 trays. Probably it was 13 or 15, but you are not there. You cannot go ask the chicken.
Sasa hii ni biashara ya kuambiwa.
Huwezi uliza kuku mlitaka ngapi leo? So you take his word for it.
Kitu Kevon anasema ni ukweli kuku.
Stacy, a book confirm. Mlitaka ngapi? Leo umetega leo. So since the chickens are going to talk to you, that was a challenge. That's why I wanted to leave. Now, I started the need to expand the farm because it's a little farm in Mekomboa. And I went to Mombasa. Sasa pale panitwa kwa Kazengo. Pale kwa Kazengo, pale Kanamai. Kwa Kazengo. Si Kajengo. Kazengo. Kwa Kazengo. After Kanamai, unaingia hapo left, there's a place I had gotten 6 acres. I had gotten some very nice gig with Safaricom. So pesa yangu yote nikapeleka huko.
Hii sasa una lease.
Sasa na lease. I've always been leasing. Wacha mchicha ufike, ukiscoot nilikuwa nafika kwa makwapa hapa hivi. Mchicha is terere.
Terere.
He was doing so well.
Pale Mombasani inaliwa.
It's just like hot cake. Paka mama mboga anapita pale nakwambia, "Hey kaka, watosha mboga naona." So ujini mboga gani anasema unatosha. But anyway, the owner of the land came and said he's also interested in farming. I'm like, but for like 6-7 years no one was farming. It was virgin land, near virgin land. How come that you're not interested?
Ameona inatoa kitu.
Long story short, hata wiki haikuisha, we were kicked out with a panga, literally. Tulifukuzwa kama mbwa. It was around 7 p.m. I was in shorts, a vest and sandals. Those who know my story, that's I was kicked out.
Wakawambia mtoke mwanangu.
Tukutaki hapa. And I remember for the first time in my adult life, between Voi and Mtituandei, I cried.
Ukalia.
Niliuliza God. Hii pesa yote nimefanyia Safaricom, yote nimepata tu gig. You actually watched to see me lose this money. The money has gone down the drain. I questioned God. Because I was still nimeenda huko Ukora, nilikuwa nimeenda pale kufanya kazi just to feed family. But look what has happened. So that was one challenge. I don't think I would wish anyone to go through what I went through.
Aliendelea na mchicha ama?
Nilikuwa kichaka mpaka sasa ni kichaka. Because you cannot steal what is in my mind. I'm the vision carrier, not you. So you get jealous, you want to be better than me, but why are you doing it? So the question is, why are you doing what you're doing? There are 5 W's and 1 H. So identify your why. Why are you a journalist? Why are you a comedian? Why? What's your purpose in life? Okay, umechekesha watu. And then, so is this something that is paying your bills and that's it? Or is there a deeper meaning to it? What's your why? And when I got my why, I have staying power now. Even when things are not working, I still going back to why did I start farming? For me, it's to change the face of agriculture. Like you rightly said when you were beginning, if you said you're a farmer, and still nowadays, I met a journalist, I want to mention which station. I was at one of these swanky restaurants. And he said, "Hey kaka, paka farmers wanajua, they can come to such hotels." Like kill me already. So you don't expect farmers we would, know even how to order for food in an expensive hotel. So there's a perception, even when you're speaking to people like, mkulima unajua kizungu.
Yani hamtaki tukuje tuone mahali chakula yetu inakulwa.
I know. So there's that perception, and that's what I'm trying to change. That whether you're young or old, you can actually make it in agriculture. It's not a career for the uneducated. It's not for those who don't have a plan B. It's not for retirees. It's for everybody.
It's just a business.
And it's actually more serious than any other career you can think about. Yep.
Haya, mimi nataka kusikia hiyo story. Umechujwa kwa mchicha. Next.
Nikaenda Limuru. Sikongi na kichupua mimi. Nikaenda Limuru.
Ukaingia Limuru.
So there's a guy who had come to my farm for training. And he's also you guy my guy. Yeah? So you guy my guy tells me, "You guy, I have a shake pale Kamandora pale. So you come, you check it out." So me I went and checked it out. One thing I was moved by the kind of vehicles he was driving, because he came in a Range Rover to my farm. When we went to his farm in Kamandora, he had I think a VX. And in church, you would see him in a Mercedes-Benz. He would change cars like a Subaru or whatever. So I kind of thought, this guy is well moneyed. That's why he doesn't want to farm up a Kamandora. So got the 2.5 acres. I have posted everything on my Twitter handle. I got people to come and help me to install the drip irrigation kit for free. Just teaching people how to install drip kits. Which nilikuwa nimetoa from China. Brother, after like 6 months, nilipata kibao imeandikwa land for sale.
Ni you guy my guy.
So me I'm calling you guy my guy. I'm like, "Hey, ni aje napata kuna kibao hapa imeandikwa land for sale. Ni shamba ya kwako ama ni shamba ingine?" Sema, "You guy my guy, we got an ad with the guy who list me the land."
Haikuwa yake.
I'm like, whoa, hold up. Shamba haikuwa yako.
So nilisiwa akakulisi.
Alafu akanilisia. So anasema sababu amekosana na mwenye alimkombolesha shamba, me I chomoa my things. Those are the words he used. You chomoa your things and you just go. Like in 2 days, you chomoa your things and go.
Just figure it out.
Just figure it out.
Chomoa your things.
I'm like, hold up. I have imported drip kits from China. Nimebuy tank, nimetoa maji like about 800 meters to the farm. I have a bank loan about 400 Gs. What do you expect me to do? Like, I don't care. You just remove your things and go. Mistake number 2 or mistake number 1, both Mombasa and Limuru, I didn't have a legally binding lease agreement. And I keep yapping about that today. Please, people, if you're going to lease a piece of land,
get the papers.
Tafuta wakili. Ambia wakili a quick one. Just
quick
a quick
one,
one.
wakili.
Wakili a quick one,
Yes.
but not in the morning.
Yes.
Wakili, just a quick one. Have a legally binding lease agreement.
Yes.
To protect your interest and also the interest of the owner of the land. And that's how I lost that piece of land. Niliacha sukuma wiki na managu, imefika, imebobe, imeshika vizuri sana.
Hata huku chuna ya mwisho.
Out of anger, what do you do now? You're frustrated.
Unasema wacha niende za wanaume upotelea kwingi.
Na hiyo ndivyo niliacha.
Ukabeba drip zako.
Nikabeba drip zangu na tank.
Moja kwa moja mpaka wapi?
Mpaka Kikuyu sasa, where I've been leasing the place where I am right now since 2011. So hapo sijafukuzwa na hope sitafukuzwa.
Hapo uko legal.
Hapo niko pale vizuri. Legally hapo hivyo. Okay. Yeah. So the need was to keep on leasing land because by the time hii ina expire unaanza lease ingine pale. I don't want to have after 5 years nimefukuzwa ama lease imeisha na imekuwa haijakuwa renewed, how do I get a second one? So the idea was by the time I'm halfway into my one lease, ingine inaanza shamba ingine, so that you continuously be farming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by now I know you do more than one type of farming. You do more of mixed farming.
Yeah.
So from dairy farming, goat keeping, poultry, kuna hiyo inaitwaje food na fish farming. Ya food inaitwa aquaculture. So ni gani top 5?
Actually,
ni gani number 1 yenye unajua hii inanileteanga kitu?
This is actually surprise you.
Usiniambie ni sukuma wiki. Beekeeping.
If I had a big piece of land, and that's what this year we are doing, we are relocating.
Wewe sasa tutaongea tukitoka hapa.
Of all things you can do.
Niko na asali nyumbani.
My goodness.
Niko na drums and drums.
Do you know Kenya is a net importer of honey?
Importer.
Net. I said net.
Tuna consume na hatuna asali.
Yes, we are importing a lot of honey. Though in Africa we are number 3. Ethiopia is number 1, then Tanzania, then Kenya.
Okay.
But we are still a net importer. Actually, most of our honey tunasema we are number 3. The imports are being counted as part of our production. So
if you have local market.
Yes. So there's a very, very big demand and a very huge open market for beekeeping. Reason being, watu wengi wafikirangi beekeeping as kama ni biashara unaweza fanya. Ama ikiwa itafanywa, weka kama mzinga kako.
Watu wanangakiwa pia delicate na complex kidogo.
Actually, yes. And also, many women fear getting to beekeeping because they will be stung.
Yes.
But nothing could be further from the truth.
Umesema hii ni ya wanaume.
Hii ni wanaume hii. Okay? That's why I keep telling people, kuja na madem niko na mizinga.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So, beekeeping for me makes a lot of sense. But apart from that, because hiyo ni biashara huwezi kuiforce. Hizi zitaletwa na Mungu. You can't force that one.
Kuna mkono
wa Mungu hapo hivyo. But horticulture. Forget the chicken. Forget any other animal. You know, na sukuma wiki, spinach, managu, terere, kunde. Those traditional vegetables, okay. Sukuma is not traditional, but traditional vegetables akina managu, na terere, mito, murenda, hizo. That's where the money is. That's our get. That's where the money is.
But I feel like you should do it near a place like Nairobi.
Good. Now it's going there. Now, all these traditional vegetables, they'll do well if you're in a cosmopolitan town.
Yes.
Because you try to do it in my county, Nyeri County, tolzwa hii ni nini?
Okay. Nani ana sukuma zake?
Hata sio sukuma. No, they eat sukuma. Let me actually mess up your thinking. Nyeri County where I come from, tunakulanga cabbage.
Oh,
Cabbage is actually a luxury. We feed our cows with terere and managu. Those are weeds. We don't eat weeds in central Kenya. If you jua hivyo.
Okay.
So I would do more of managu, terere, these are traditional vegetables in cosmopolitan towns where there are many tribes around.
Yes.
Like now Nairobi, Mombasa.
Kila tribe ikule kitu yao.
Yes. But you're trying to do traditional vegetables, say in Nyeri County, let me use the Nyeri County. Uptake itakuwa kubwa sana. My own uncles will ask me, nikula terere, vitu zina grow up widely. Nikula cabbage. But in Nairobi, actually, if you can afford those traditional vegetables, you're doing well financially. You're doing very well. Yeah.
What if you have the means? You have the means to bring them in. Maybe you're in Nyeri or Meru.
You could bring them in. Yes, you could bring them in. Problem is the perishability. Unless you are doing a refrigerated truck.
Tafute gari kama ya miraa.
Miraa na kuja mbio. Managu ikuje teke.
Managu ndio hiyo.
So I've since stopped doing chicken farming. I know most people are familiar with me and chicken farming because of the cost of production has gone very, very, very high in terms of the cost of feeds. And secondly, the last couple of years I've been not around the country. So farming chicken and you're not there, chances of them being stolen are very high. So I kind of
unarudingi unapata watu wananaona huku ni nini, kumbe wanakula kila siku.
Jamaa ukiemploy jamaa leo anajifulia nguo, 2 weeks later kuna kadem kanakuja kumfulia nguo na lazima asindikizwe na package, nitokea package iko na tusukuma wiki tumanagu na kakuku na tumayai for services rendered. This lady has to go back with a package. So it's your package ni yako. So right now I'm into dairy goat farming. Nauza maziwa mbuzi.
Haya, so kulingana na chenye nimesikia sasa tumetoka kwa apiary tukaenda kwa horticulture,
goat keeping and goat keeping.
Sasa tuko kwa goat keeping.
Yes, mbuzi. The challenge with goats is to get good quality goats. That's the main challenge. Challenge number one, not the main. The main one is actually market for milk. That's the main challenge actually. So getting a regular market for goat milk, because majority of my clients today, and probably they are listening, they don't buy goat milk to go and make tea with it. They buy milk to consume it as whole because they are giving their kids who have eczema, skin conditions, or they are lactose intolerant. So rarely will you find someone actually making tea.
Ya mbuzi inaga lactose?
No, it's able to break down the lactase. So it's easily digestible in the system, especially for mothers who are weaning their babies, or for one reason or the other, their breasts are not able to produce enough milk, because goat milk is second to breast milk. Statistics, science, not even me. It's research. So they will opt to give their babies goat milk. It's easier to digest. So majority of our clients are clients with small kids. So watoto wakizeeka anunue maziwa tena, anaenda kwa ng'ombe, akuji tena kwa maziwa yako. So the challenge is to keep on getting as many clients as possible, and also reducing the price of goat milk, because selling a liter at 200 bob, it's a bit expensive, it's a bit high. So we are working on ways how we can further reduce the prices so that everybody can afford the price of goat milk.
So pesa ya mbuzi iko kwa maziwa ama?
No.
Pesa mingi ya mbuzi iko wapi, kwa nyama?
No. Being a breeder.
Ala.
Wacha niwachanue.
So wewe kama wewe ndio uko na dhenge,
if you are, always ask yourself, where do you want to find yourself in the value chain? If you are a breeder, you make most money. Anyone telling you that they are making a lot of money in pig farming wanakudanganya. Mwenye anatengeneza pesa ni mwenye anauza tutoto twa nguruwe. The pregnant souls and the kids, those are the people making most money. Not the guy with 2 pigs and that sijui nguruwe kachinjwa pale unailea for 6 months. No, the guy who has a rotational of say
kuzalisha
50 piglets a week. That's the guy who's making all the money, and that's where the money is. Chicken farming, same. That's why Ken Chick makes a lot of money when they sell day-old chicks. That's why people, some of us who are doing hatching of chicks, we make more money when you hatch a chick than when you rear it until it gets 6 months.
Kwanza inakula pesa mingi sana.
Exactly, and the risk of it dying. So when it comes to animal production, the person who is a breeder makes most of the money. That's where the money is. But then we cannot all be on that part of the value chain. So some of us will be producers, some of us will be consumers, will be whatever. But in my opinion, that's where the money is. A breeder. He who controls the seed controls the market.
Nikitaka mbuzi niongee na wewe.
Hata husiwezi because hata mimi natafuta mbuzi sasa hivi. Sijafika breeder mimi. No, I'm way off. Sijafika mambo ya breeder. I need to get to that level where now I can start. I'm a credible breeder, licensed by the government, who can now sell good quality breeds. Shida wenye wanajita breeders, mbuzi zao zimefanywa inbreeding. So quality sio mzuri, zimechanganyika sana. Quality sio mzuri. That's where people go wrong. Na buy kambuzi because it's cheap. Naambia inatoa lita 2.
Na utaambiwa vitu kuihusu kabla uinunue. Utaambiwa hii sasa imetoka Italy. Hii ni noma hii.
French Alpine. French Alpine inatoa lita ngapi? Nafanya vidole hivi lita ngapi? 4 ukipatia chakula vizuri. Hiyo kitu hata kikombe moja ifiki.
Ngumu.
So
next. Let's go to the next thing that
I do
cashing in.
I do lots of training, and as a trainer, I'm also, if I may say this here, I'm the brand ambassador for Davis and Shortleaf. Now, yes. So some companies are coming on board and they want to work with farmers. They want to pass their message of whatever they're doing, whatever they're selling, in a way that farmers will understand. So that's also part of the value chain that I felt corporates are not either hawakuwa wanatuangalia hizo siku, we were not part of the matrix. But now more and more corporates are coming on board and saying we need to communicate, or we need to reach our farmers. So who can we use? So if you've been a credible farmer, again, the comes back to credibility. If you've been a credible farmer and people can actually look back at your journey and see this is a guy we can bank on, we can work with, then corporates are coming on board. And I thank God for people like Safaricom, Davis and Shortleaf, Apollo Agriculture, Simlo Seeds, all these companies are now coming on board. And over the weekend, we had all these corporates coming to my farm. We had a big open day, and we're just talking about farming. And people came to learn for free.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Sasa ni watu wamelipiwa.
Wamelipiwa. Sasa unajua sasa lazima yangu sasa.
Wewe ndio unalipwa.
Si ndio.
Mwalimu.
Si ndio nikubali watu wakuje shambani kwangu. Yeah.
Fish.
Fish honestly, how do I put this? I throw in catfish there because catfish are what you call bottom barrel feeders. These are to clean the pond. The catfish are not for my consumption. Let me explain. So I have a pond that I show people how to do water harvesting. So we do rainwater harvesting, maji inaingia kwa ile pond. But then there was a question of what happens, because this is stagnant water, utapata kuna mosquitoes in the breed. So how do we deal with this? So a lot of research, and I realized, catfish actually eat mosquito larvae. All right. But then after to make a catfish, we also realized that this water still is not that, it's not being turned as regular as we'd want. What do we do? So you throw in some ducks. Ducks are natural aerators. As they are ndani swimming and playing with water, they oxygenate the water because the water is still stagnant. So ducks are also going to be eating the small dead insects that came to drink water, then zika drown. So ducks and catfish are playing the same purpose. Now, ducks ile kopale, fish ile kopale ndani, it's going toilet, it's going pupu. Ikipupu, hiyo pupu yake kichanganya na maji, when you pump it out, it's 100% liquid organic fertilizer. Nitrogen. It's rich in nitrogen. So again, to fertilize the pond, we throw in like a few handfuls of chicken manure. Chicken manure is again rich in nitrogen. So you'll find what you call phytoplanktons or planktons. Planktons are the natural food for fish. Akina algae, zola, all those will grow naturally in such a pond. So the idea is to have an ecosystem where even if I'm not making money from the catfish, they are giving me manure, and that water is being pumped out to the horticulture farm. That pond is still home to water for the bees who come and drink water from the pond. And the goat urine, once we wash the goat shed, we let some water come into the pond. So when all this water is mixed, when you pump it out now and you filter it, it's 100% liquid organic manure, and the crops do so well.
Wow, that's a brilliant way of farming. It's sort of some rotational.
It's called permaculture.
You need a permaculture.
Permaculture. If you want to sound like
whatever is in the farm is feeding something else in the
circular.
farm.
Everything goes
circulating.
Circulating.
Nimeona kitu kama hiyo kwa YouTube zinanifurahisha sana, nazionanga zinanifurahisha sana.
Na catfish bado inakula masukuma wiki, the leaves inakula. So nimepanda some sweet potato vines around the pond. So hizo vines zikiingia kwa maji, samaki wanajitafunia wao wenyewe. They feed themselves. So if you're doing chicken farming, I used to cut all the intestines na rushia samaki wanakula.
Mimi na feel ni kama nahitaji kutembea kwa hiyo farm. Let's get into the economics of farming. Kwa sababu sasa wewe kama venye nimekusikia kitu kama land ni kama umeamua haubai, wewe utalease. Venye nimekusikia pia ni kama hakuna kitu kama greenhouse kwako. What's your way of thinking?
You know, when I thought of getting into farming back in 2010, though I started in 2011, there was a thought process that went through. Because look, I come from a poor background. Let me just call it poor, or not well up. So at what point will I get $1 million or $2 million to buy land? because the concept tumeambiwa ni lazima kuwe na shamba ndio ukalime kashamba kamogoda kafroti kateri. So that's the concept. That's farming is, or land is a very emotive subject. So whoever you talk to, they will tell you a man must own some piece of land. Fair enough. But how many young people are listening to me right now, not even young, even plus 35, 40, honestly have their own piece of land for agricultural production? Very few people. Either you don't have, or even the finances to go buy land. So I flashed back and I realized my parents were actually teaching me the concept of leasing land without them teaching me. So when we were young, we used to go pick tea leaves in Odhaya.
Okay.
And we didn't own these pieces of land. Not at all. So my mom would, let's say, lease for a whole year. Then another year, we go to another section. So I didn't understand. I was in class 3, 4. I didn't understand why this year we are harvesting someone else's tea leaves.
Yes.
I actually thought we were
majani ni yetu hii.
Actually thought sisi ni kijana KYM. I thought we were laborers. Yes. But then my mom tells me tukiuza we get some money. I'm like, but we are trying for that other family. Like apana kwa sasa hii ni yetu. I didn't understand it until later on I realized, hold up, my parents for the longest time were leasing land for production. So I talked to an aunt of mine, and then she told me this, where she was leasing the adjacent land, they were leasing it out. Now the concept of leasing, the average cost would be between say let me say an average of 10 to 20,000 shillings per acre per year, depending on where you are. That is good. That's the average. Some places utambia mpaka 5-3K. But in Nairobi, it ranges between 10 and 15K. So when I got this land, guess how much I was paying for 1 acre? A whopping 8,000 shillings for 1 acre.
Per year.
Nilimwongezea after 5 years, nikamwambia nilipe 10,000 ndio hesabu isemeke vizuri.
Na mbona tutateseka huku tuna rent manyumba? Si unaweza enda uje weke hata container uishi hapo ndani ukilima.
I know. I was in Kimana 2-3 weeks ago. For those who follow me, there's some posts I did there. And I hope when people see when we post, please, uliza maswali. People are leasing land and season there is 10,000 shillings. 10,000 for 6 months. And people are leasing 10 acres. Ile pesa watu wanatoka na hizo mashamba wame-lease. Okay, it's not as easy as I'm making it sound. Like I started by saying, I've been kicked out on a lease piece of land.
Kwanza ukiona strategy na capital. You're going to make money.
Yes. So look at it this way. For the last 12 years, nimekuwa nikikomboa hiyo shamba, I've only spent 120,000 shillings.
For the past 12 years.
For the last 12 years, nimekuwa hiyo shamba, nimelipa only 120,000 shillings. Because I'm paying 10K per year. If I was to buy that land, sahi hiyo area inatoka 15 million 1 acre. Mimi sina 15 million mali nizimeka.
For what?
All right. So for people who are thinking of getting into agriculture, why don't you take the leasing concept and after 5 years, if it doesn't work for you, go look for another career. As opposed to buying land for 2-3 million shillings, you actually go take a bank loan to buy land for production. Please never ever.
Now you don't even have anything to start the farming.
Exactly. So umeenda umepata kashamba hapa Kamulu Joska nikaitha money whatever, you spend 2-3 million shillings of which is a bank loan. So you'll be forced to stay at your workplace until you finish paying off this loan, because I'm yet to see any half an acre or less being able to pay your 2-3 million shillings even in 5 years. Sio ni kilipa. So think of leasing land first. After umelease, so what I've been doing is for the last 12 years, nimekuwa nikiweka pesa kando. Silent aingia uko Kimana, kama ni Kimana Mungu atanibariki. I'm doing not less than 30 acres. I'm buying 30 acres. Because I'll be a farmer all my life, and it's cheaper that way. I would rather spend 4.55 million shillings for a block of 30 acres than spend 5 million shillings for a land in Joska Kamulu.
So buy just hakuna mtu amesema usinunue land. Buy land, but eventually. Ikiwa uko na pesa, you don't need to start by buying. Ikiwa uko na pesa,
kama iko pesa, mbona usiende don't lease land, wewe nunua. But most of us, and I'm speaking to majority of us who don't have enough money to answer na kulease, I would rather lease that. You talked about greenhouses, and I get into trouble every time, and I'm willing again to get into trouble. For starters, you're starting into farming. Hujailima hata kitunguu hata nyanya even a day of your life. Then someone tells you to get into greenhouse farming. I am not for that, and I've been very vocal, and I'll still say it.
Kwanza kabisa, what's usually the concept of a greenhouse?
Good. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with our soils and our weather that we must house our crops under greenhouse. Now, I know greenhouse will give you a controlled environment.
Yeah.
You control the diseases, you control weather, you control everything. I understand that. And that's beautiful. But if I'm addressing a beginner, and most of the people who are listening to us are either at the beginning phase, where would you spend 250,000 to 300,000 shillings for one greenhouse which is 8 meters by 20 meters? If you give me that 300,000 shillings, I'll take 50K and lease 5 acres in Kimana. Na nibaki na pesa mingi sana.
Nibaki na pesa ya kufight na hizo vitu unajaribu kufight nazo ndani ya greenhouse.
Yes. And yeye yuko Kimana, nitafute mahali kuna canal, nifanye maji, nitoe maji kwa canal, nifanye pumping, and for 6 months that balance, that 300,000 shillings, itanisukuma for those 6 months. Then if you want to get into greenhouse farming at a later date, you can. But let me get into trouble. Let me make a statement, then I get into trouble. Most of the people who are getting into greenhouse farming, or they feel they must get into greenhouse farming, greenhouse farming has become a beauty contest. Farming has become a beauty contest. Who has the best, most modern, good-looking greenhouse?
But what about what is inside?
Yako lijanga na fito. Miyangu ni ya chuma, bro. It's like comparing Mercedes-Benz na Subaru. Mabati. That's what people are doing with greenhouses.
Yeah.
I've gone to farms and people wananiambia, hey, mimi unaona wale wakulima wale yao walifanya framing yao na fito, fito miti. Naona yangu ni chuma, mzee nimesimamisha chuma, galvanized. Mama mboga doesn't care whether your greenhouse is galvanized, whether you import it from China, from wherever. They want an affordable tomato. Mlete tomato, affordable. That's all they care. So for anyone who's getting to greenhouse farming or farming in general, greenhouse is not your first project to start with. Because hata hujui vile soko itakupeleka. I'm seeing so many abandoned greenhouses out there. Why? Because someone lied to them. Someone was actually, if you see someone talking about greenhouses too much, they sell greenhouse. Hiyo ndio kazi yao. Ni maburoka wa greenhouse wanataka kukuzia the unit. Whether it succeed or it succeed, it's none of their business.
Kuna mtu alisema during a gold rush, sell spades.
Yes. You see? Wisdom. So I always understand when someone is throwing out information to you, where are they in the value chain? All right? So people are pushing, hey, nunua ka plot, alafu weka greenhouse. So they're actually not selling the plots pass, it's the greenhouses. So if they can get 1,000 people to buy 1,000 greenhouses, how much money have they made? Actually, the greenhouse is probably more expensive than that piece of land you're buying.
They are going to come after you after this.
No, it's okay. Let them come to me. Nimetukanwa kwa DM zangu nilizoea. And that's why I've not gotten a gig to push greenhouse farming. Sijaipata hiyo gig. Probably nitachange one day. But on a serious note, on a very serious note, any young person getting into it, first hold off. After umebobea, after umeshika system, umeshika rada, then you can get into greenhouse farming. It's a good thing if you're going again to plant high value crops. Problem is, everyone doing greenhouse farming, they are planting 2 things: capsicums and tomatoes. Alafu pata na mtu amelima eka 10 Kimana, nyanya. Nyanya yake imefanya vizuri sana. Hata kushughulika na mambo ya greenhouse, mpatana sokoni. Nyanya yake itaenda yache yako.
Wewe uko hapo fancy farming.
Fancy because you want #manenos, greenhouse manenos, permaculture manenos, #ukulima sio shamba. You're pushing hashtags. The farmer in Kimana doesn't even have TikTok or Twitter in their phone, but they are making sales. I went there. Malori my FH zimesimama pale. I created that last week, but one was selling at 7,000 shillings. Anyone who is watching this, please tell me or listening, tell me if I'm lying. 7,000 shillings, crate moja.
Let's get into how to find market for your product.
Now,
kwa sababu sasa inazimaja nyanya ni 7,000.
Yes.
Kuna watu bado nyanya inaoza.
Good. There's something called market intelligence.
Yes. MI.
Market intelligence.
Sio AI.
Now, ni kama let me introduce the example of a club. If you want to understand a particular field, if I want to start a car wash business, just because kuna shamba hapo kwetu, hata kwangu shambani niko na space, nitaanza car wash hapo? No, you go where there's traffic. Now, people are complaining there are bigger, better onions coming from Tanzania. But if you have intelligence of how the market is, you will know Tanzania will be releasing their onions from July, August, September. So should you also be harvesting at that time? Yes or no? Sasa wewe utajijibu hapo. So when you have that intelligence of knowing hii season kutakuwa na demand ya kitunguu Mombasa, kutakuwa na demand ya mboga. Like now the people who had cabbages the last 2-3 months wameomoka. Because a cabbage at the farm gate price is 60 bob. But wait after the rains itanunua shilingi 5. Same cabbage.
Yeah.
So you have to understand the market trends. How has the trend been? Like right now, sijapanda managu na terere. Na sitapanda. Unajua ni kwa nini? After kumenyesha, mbegu za last season zitagerminate across the country.
Yes.
So anyone who had
nilikuwa na terere mingi sana mahali. Kuna place nilikuwa naishi. Nilikuwa naikula kila wakati.
And it was after the rains.
Yes.
But November, December, January, February hakukuwa na terere na managu because mvua hainyeshi. So sahi sipandi sahi. So you have to know that before you actually plant something. Anzia sokoni. Start from the market. Talk to the mama mbogas. Talk to those brokers you don't like. Watakuambia usipanda kitunguu sahi. Watakuambia ni nyanya delay by 1 month then uende upande.
Anzia kwa soko.
Anzia sokoni. Sio shambani. Shida yetu sisi young people ni wajuaji sana. Because umeona video za Caleb amepanda kunde, uende upande kunde. Because yes, I made a lot of money from kunde the last 2 months. Okay, not a lot, but made some good money. So if you want to copy me, you are forgetting. Sasa sipandi kunde, mimi nishatoka kwa kunde sasa. I'm planting something else. Because I have that market intelligence. I talk to other farmers. You could have the market intelligence, but it can change in a week's time.
Yeah.
So what is your network like? Wakulima sushi na kwa simu. Napigia msee ako Narok. Hii season mmepanda nini? Naveleka aje? Bro, sasa ndio tunaweka kitunguu. Lakini kitunguu tunaweka tu only 2 acres, hatuweki 4 acres. Why? Watu wa Kemana, tulikuwa huko wameongezea because seasons siju kulikuwa na ugonjwa fulani ili affect a particular region. So you got to know the nitty-gritties of what's going on. It's like doing chicken farming right now, kienyeji to be specific, yet people are importing eggs from Uganda. So what should you get into? Why import for now? Wacha kuproduce. Import mayai uzia watu. Soko ikiharibika, then sasa go back into production.
So your market will come from your network.
From your networks.
Yes.
People leverage on social media, and it's okay, and we're all on social media. But social media is not the panacea, it's not the silver bullet to your market. And let me describe this. Most farmers, what they're doing is, who on social media, unapanda kitunguu unanyamaza. Sasa ile umeharvest imejaa kwa gunia, unaanza kutupigia picha. #onion manenos. I didn't know you are planting onions. Yeah. So sasa ile iko tayari ndio unaileta kwa soko.
Yeah.
Then you find someone saying, kienyeji chicken. We are selling kienyeji chicken, delivered across the country. Everybody is selling. But there was no journey. You didn't prepare the market in advance. So we didn't know you had them. Tunge pre-book even. So what I do is, nikimwaga mbegu pale ya kunde, na mwaga mbegu ya kunde, I tell people, it will be ready in the next 27 days. So I have 27 days, watu wanaweza kubuku. So if you're going to use social media, don't post and expect people to come and buy. The conversion doesn't happen after the harvest. The conversion starts when you first set up your first beehive. Watu wanajua, bro ako na mzinga sahi. Haya, nyuki zimekuja. Haya, ametuambia nyuki zimekuja. Haya, jana nilikuwa napanda sunflowers. Haya, Bazua ameanza kupanda sunflower pale. So people already know that your bees are 100% organic. So asali yako ni legit.
Wamekuwa wakiona kikuja.
You'll be following a journey. So that's the online part of it. But do mama mboga know that you exist? Watu wa hiyo area yenu kaya center kenu, wale mama mboga, mbona waende Kawangware and you live 5 kilometers away from Kawangware? Do they know where your farm is located? So what I used to do is,
kama mimi sasa nikiingia Meru pale niseme nimewacha kila kitu naenda kulima sukuma. Nikishuka tu hivi kwa gari Meru, naanza kuambia watu nimefika kulima sukuma. Na
waulize, usienda kulima sukuma, waulize nyinyi mama mboga, mnataka nini? Why I failed in cauliflower and broccoli farming is because after zimekuwa ready, nikapeleka nikaita mama mboga hapo Limuru, hapo Kamandora before kicked out. Mama mboga alikuja, aliniuliza hii ni nini? You know, there's nothing as hurtful. There's nothing as hurtful. Jasper, like umelima broccoli for 3.5 months. Then 3 women come and 2 of them ask you, what is this?
Hizi ni nini?
Hizi ninakaa kama brain ya mtoto, brain ya mtu. The broccoli looks like.
Ate broccoli.
Broccoli. Because they call it broccoli. I'm like, come on. I was a slaking farmer then.
Yes.
It's broccoli, not broccoli.
Yeah.
So you got to farm what they want. So they come, they tell me, tunataka mito. Me, I didn't know it was mito. Tunataka saga. Like, what the hell is mito? I don't know the saga. Sijui. So they tell me, tunataka mito, tunataka saga, tunataka majani ya pumpkins. I'm like, come on.
Sasa mimi nitoke K24 nikuje
nipande malenge. Kwa nini kichwa malenge mimi? But you see, they have intelligence. They've been doing sales for the last I don't know how many years. They understand their clients. So I'm not saying don't plant the good-looking broccoli and cauliflower. But if you're in a cosmopolitan town, go to the mama mboga. Ukifika hapo Meru waulize ni mboga gani iko na demand hipatikanangi sana. Mtanunua iko na customers. Yes. So kuna mwingine atakwambia mimi ni wasukuma wiki mimi uzanga spinach mimi ni managu. So have like 4 vegetables you can play around with. Don't stick with one crop. Do not ever stick with one crop. Utaumia.
Ebu say tell the avocado people something.
What avocado? the fear of avocado is what? Ikodofia. Now avocados are good, but don't go doing avocado farming on leased land. Lazima ikuwe shamba yako. I'm actually inclined to believe that we should actually go back to our traditional avocado fruits. Ile kubwa ile avocado ya Kisii, ya Meru. Why do we say avocado ya Kisii ama ya Meru? Because we know it's nice. So when everybody else is going the Hass variety kind of route, when I buy my land, means hakuna hata Hass avocado hata moja ninapanda. I'll go those hiyo ya Meru, hiyo ya Kisii, those big ones, because there's a market, there's a local market for it. So go for it if you feel you're going to get an export market. Personally, this is just my personal opinion. I would do the traditional avocados that we have. Yeah. They are sweeter.
Amazing. Let's get into the education, the general education, because Caleb cannot be there every day to educate people, the general public about it. People are in universities and colleges doing certain courses. Sijui ulisema ni gani na gani? Horticulture,
animal husbandry,
ndio hizo. But now unaangalia unapata kuna wenye wanafanya, most of them wanafanya ndio wapata kazi kwa gava hivi ama kwa hizo organizations za serikali. How do we go about it?
The problem actually lies in we are preparing our children to pass an exam and get a job with an NGO or government. That's it. We are not preparing this person who is doing animal or crop husbandry to go and start their own venture. Hatujawafunza the A to Z of running an enterprise. Tunawafunza upite mtihani, you do better than everybody else, ni uende upate job kwa serikali. So I'm all for if we had more agricultural extension officers. Akisema mupanda hii variety ya mahindi, mkose mtaona. I mean, his word was low. Because ametoka serikali with all the data. The government has a lot of data. So hii data yote anakuja explain in a better way. Nawambia, huu msimu, tukienda community department, the rains will be suppressed.
Na so unasaidianga? Wenye wako wachache? Because I remember my mother telling us about, kuna mwenye alikuja akawaelimisha about mahindi. Awaambia wacha kutili shamba mzima. Enda uchimbe shimo mahali unataka kupanda mahindi.
Minimal tillage.
Minimal tillage. Ndio usumbue soil compatibility.
Exactly.
Alafu unarusha mahindi yako na fertilizer unafunikia.
And that's what we want to see. All these graduates.
Early harvest times 3.
You see? So these people, they just need to be equipped. We get all these kids who may graduate to ambie, let's get into a center or a database. If I'm in Kimana, if I'm in Narok, I'm whatever, and I need an agronomist. Mwenye amepractice, mwenye amefunzwa na amepractice shuleni mulikuwa na shamba, kuja shamba yangu. I'm looking for an agronomist, a trained one, an experienced one. So how many of us can we get? Fine. You can come work for my farm, but do you have your own farm? Can you list a farm where as an agronomist? Can we have as many agronomists as possible out there?
Practicing ones.
because there's a need for that. So I'm all for serikali ifunza watu, yes, wacha watoto wasome, but how are you preparing them for the job market?
Yeah.
There's something about the drought we've been experiencing. I'm yet to see a minister for agriculture. I'm yet to see. Probably Alisema Ivo did watch it.
Yeah.
To come on TV and say, I'm encouraging farmers to think about rainwater harvesting.
Yes.
We have a whole hour session of a minister for agriculture or CS or whatever.
Yeah.
Aongee kuhusu the importance of water harvesting. And aseme, sisi kama serikali, all the bulldozers, excavators.
Yeah.
We are going to send every excavator in this country is going to be leased by the government. Ienda ichimbia watu madams and ponds across the country 3 months before the drought, 3 months before hata mvua inyeshe.
Hii time yote tumekuwa tukilia.
Singekuwa
zinachimbo.
I mean, sorry.
Usikasirike.
I get angry about
Yeah.
it's a small solution. Ni kuweka hika kitu mafuta. Drivers wa NYS. Okay, DF wako na hizo vitu. There are private people with excavators zimekwama hapa hivi. What would you take and say, county government ya Kiambu, give me a database. How many excavators do you have? You have 20 years. Tutaweka mafuta. Okay? Tutalipa madriver. Mtu anataka sasa, you pay for the labor. Let's say probably 3 or 5K. Lakini mafuta imewekwa. We can come up with a model so that we do community dams and individual dams. Then we say the next thing is we need dam liners. They are going to be manufactured in this country. So we find out, are they manufactured using waste nylons, waste plastic? If yes, we collect all the waste plastic in this country and we recycle it and we make dam liners locally.
Bas.
Then we go to banks and tell banks, hii dam liner cost yake ni 10,000 for say 12 meters by 10 meters by 2 meters. Ni 10,000. But patia tu na kalon. Na kalon ako tuwapatia, tutauzia wewe kama the bank at say 8,000 shillings. Mkulima apate at a very subsidized rate. So that I have a reason to actually go and get that dam liner. Then to say, why don't we manufacture our own drip lines? If there was a president or a minister, whoever, who had the heart of farmers, before the rains, kungekuwa kumechimbwa dams mingi na, not even dams,
even one
Itare
really,
and the rest.
Even one cared.
Even one cared. I'm not talking about Itare and Kimwarer.
Yeah.
No. My own Kimwarer, kangu kadogo, I have 144,000 liters. How many farmers right now are harvesting rainwater? It's actually against a policy to harvest rainwater. Did you know that? It's illegal to harvest rainwater.
It's illegal.
It is illegal. How haja repeal hizo policies? They have not repealed them.
Wow.
Yes.
Why?
Ni zile mambo za ukoloni za kitambo sana.
Ama ni wazungu walikuwa wanataka kucollect peke yao. Because si unaona Kiambu vile imefanywa? Kiambu has so many lakes.
And that's what you're supposed to be having to generate. So we put, so image yote we harvest, kila mtu akiharvest say a million liters, kila mtu ameharvest a million liters, the rest iende kwa lake, ni sawa. But we're not teaching people. The government is not out there to say we are going to go on a campaign to have people do water harvesting. Secondly, let's have good quality seeds. There are so many people na to Probox, and sorry Probox people, wanauza fake seeds and fertilizer. Mkulima because apeona hii ni cheaper by say 100 bob or 200 bob, anaenda napanda pale. That is food insecurity, because that's the worst crime you can actually commit. Unauzia mkulima mbegu kijua haitaota hii, sio going to germinate, yet unamuuzia. So I'm all for that. I'm all for even access to markets. If the government really wanted, if it really wanted, Nigeria is the largest importer of tomato paste in Africa. Nigeria. But they're importing from where? Not from Kenya. From out of Africa. Africa imports $30 billion worth of food per year. Africa. Why don't we believe in intra-Africa trade? Why don't we export our tomatoes to them? Watuzie kama ni fufu, the spices or whatever they have. Why are we not doing intra-Africa trade? Because I still need a visa to go to Namibia. I need a visa to go to Angola. It's in Africa, for crying out loud. I just need to get my passport or my ID and go to any African country na nilime na niweze ku-export and do trade within the continent. So I'm calling for governments, African governments.
The time is now.
To follow the Maputo and the Malabo Declaration.
Yes.
They say they're going to set aside 10% of the national budget towards agriculture. Kenya to go 2.5%. I think 14, 15 years later.
Na ukiuliza unaambiangwa it's the leading economic nini?
It's the backbone of our economy. Uti wa mgongo.
2.5.
Wapi. Amjafika 10% more than 13 years later. So, I mean, there just needs to be looked at it holistically. That farming is not a retirement plan. It's not where the minister will come and there will be a scandal. There will be a maize scandal or a fertilizer scandal. There's always a scandal in the Ministry of Agriculture. Why? Because watu wanafikira tumbo zao kwanza, they don't have the heart of the smallholder farmer. And that has to change.
Yep. Umesema usimami?
Sisimami mimi. Ndasimama lakini mimi hapana. Lakini I would actually want to be involved behind the scenes. I've never wanted to be in the limelight. But if the government had asked me before when they were inaugurated, I would have come back from the States and niwaambie, let's do this. Tuanze kuchimba madam. People think we are stupid, but wacha tuanze kuchimba ponds and you see a change.
I actually saw something, I think on TikTok, where people are trying to reclaim the natural way of how land is supposed to be. Ilikuwa place kama ni Wamasai wamelisha ng'ombe sana, nyasi imeisha, mchanga imeanza kuenda. So walikuja wakaanza kuchimba mashimo. Kuna venye hizo mashimo zilikuwa zinachimbwa kulingana venye maji ina flow. So wanachimba maji. Si shimo kubwa, tu ingi.
Like small basins.
Kama basins. And that place in 1 year ilikuwa bushes tena.
Exactly. I mean, so who is teaching people that point?
Information kama hiyo,
they can only get it from one YouTuber probably. So if we were the government, that's what I'm saying, how the government probably is doing some things, probably tusiwachape sana, but it's how it's communicating this information. Do I have access to it? And I think I've been farming for 12 years. I don't have access to it. Is there a YouTube channel? Is there a platform where they can say today after the news o'clock, 9 o'clock, in the documentary wa Kenya wata watch. Ama everybody ako TikTok watching whatever is going on after midnight. Well, actually, I think some of this, whatever, there should be a free 2-hour bundle for content in agriculture. Free. Serikali iseme, if you have any agricultural content, tutakulipa wewe, put it on a platform for 2 hours. Utalipwa, mimi nilipwe, but I upload my content on that. So it's free access to the entire country for 2 hours. Say every Friday. And you can download it.
Practicing farmers wanapewa chance ya kuelimisha wase wengine.
Exactly. So if I'm doing how to do carrots or how to do onions or whatever, I do my own 10 minutes whatever show. Nikadit vizuri sana nakatupa huko. Mwingine anafanya how to do rabbit farming. Mwingine anafanya nini? Access to market, insurance, whatever. To pay your content here to.
How is Israel doing it?
It is doing it.
These people are farming, they exporting more food than us
in a desert. Yes.
No wonder nani anakuja huku analima acres and acres.
Yes. Gilad. Yes, because I think shida yetu ni one kuna ubinafsi mwingi sana. Even kama wakulima. Ouch. Kuna ubinafsi mwingi sana because nimeangukia ka 5 acre mahali. Nataka kulima peke yangu. Leo sina capital, sina soko, but sababu nimepata eka 5, sasa watajua vile nitaomoka. Na mkikana na boy wako mwambie mimi niko na shamba, ni yetu ama ni yangu, mimi sina capital. Meleta capital, my part of capital is the land nimeleta. Acha tulime, to hustle soko, mimi sikopoa kuongea na mama mboga ukopoa, tushikane kama wakulima 2 or 3 or 10, tulime. Then looking for a market is a bit easier that way. But you want to do it alone. You want to produce, you want to look for a market, you want to advertise. You cannot do it alone. So you'll be binafsi also. Because if you look at how these other countries out of Kenya are performing, they are doing large scale. So wewe uko na kanusu kako, you're insisting upande avocado, upande watermelon, upande managu, terere. Si uende mahali mshikane kama chama mtafute 100 acres na mlime. I would rather 100k tukiwa tumeshikana watu 10 kuliko 20,000 shillings after 3 months.
Man, wacha tumalize hivi. Hebu advise mtu yote anataka kuanza kufanya farming, mpatie 5 tips. 5 do's and or don'ts.
Wow, number 1. Be ready to make mistakes. That's number 1. Out of the question, let's put it out. You will make mistakes, be ready to make mistakes, and you will learn from them. But you're going to make fewer mistakes. Number 1, if you have a mentor. Get someone, they could mentor you, or you could actually go to several farms to be mentored. You don't have to stick with one mentor. So seek for knowledge. That's, I cannot emphasize the need to seek for knowledge and continuous seeking of knowledge. Number 2, like I said, anzia sokoni. Before you do anything, you will listen to to a lot of content out there about agriculture. You'll watch a lot of YouTube videos. But first, start with the market. So that the market will tell you, hakuna soko kubwa sana ya nyama ya sungura. No, so sungura ni mzuri and they are easy to rear, but hamna soko. From Kikuyu mpaka hapa nimefika long Kiambu Road, hakuna tabocheri hata moja ya nyama ya sungura. Ni kwa nini? Na tukiendelea mpaka Nyeri, hakuna probably one.
Mkojo ya sungura inaenda.
Mkojo ya sungura. Uliza wakulima wangapi, go to those farms, ask how many farmers are actually using rabbit urine. And nowadays it's easier. Do a poll on Twitter or Instagram. How many of you are using rabbit urine? Tapata ni watu wawili watatu. So is there a market for that? All right. So anzia sokoni, understand what the people are producing that. Number 3, you gotta have a vision. Have a vision board. Like, yes, nimelis shamba eka moja, but where do I see myself in the next 3, 5, 10 years to come? Will you still be leasing, or will you be still leasing and do value addition? Because you don't have to increase your land production, your land size. You can actually value add. Surround yourself with people who mnaenda mahali pamoja. I have this group of 26 farmers. We are all farmers. And let me tell you, you do something stupid, we tell you to your face, you're new jinga. People who will correct you, people who have your best interest at heart. Because farming can be a very, very lonely venture. So you need your peers, you need people ambao mna challenge na each other. Like I talked about, you're going to take risks, so you're ni lazima. Lastly, do not listen to the hype of anything on media. Don't buy into the hype. Quail farming. Nilifanya quail farming because I was told an egg ni 150 shillings. Ilienda down to 5 shillings na kuna mtu alikuwa ananunua. So every time, and I've worked in the media, and you're in the media, you know, media tends, and I'm using the word tends carefully, media tends to sanitize a scam. Just because uliona X TV station.
I mean, a story has to be told in the best way possible.
And it's been sexed up. Imepambwa, imepakwa, imepodolewa hivyo. When you watch it on TV, just because you saw it on TV does not mean it's legit. Just because you saw a guy selling some plot somewhere in Malindi or wherever, na unaenda upande mananasi huko, does not mean it's a legit piece of land. Mananasi pengine hata haina do. Wewe ni tu ni shamba tu atakukuzia. So always interrogate. It's okay to question. It's okay not to get into a deal you feel is not good for you. Don't get into something because you saw it in the media. Interrogate. Na la mwisho, tafadhali, whoever you pray to, muombe. Because ile character development that is waiting on you, it's inakungojea. If you don't have like a higher power, for me it's God.
You're going to break down.
You're going to question the very existence of that God you're praying to. Because utachapo unashinda, what am I doing wrong? So always have that backup. And my main backup is God. Then have a backup of family. That people understand what you're doing.
Man, thank you so much for coming through and educating us, giving us that kind of information ambayo hatuwezi get for free. Ni ngumu sana kupata mzee anatuelimisha hivyo. Kuna mzee ataona hii video na itamu encourage na ataenda atafanya hii maneno. Na feel ni kama mzee yote mwenye anakusikiza anaanza at a much better place. Ndio mzee asiende make mistakes zenye wewe make. Si ndio? And that's what we're trying to do for everyone else.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate.
Na uendelee kumenta wase wa young, na feel ni kama watu wengi sana wanahitaji kuwa mentored na wajue kuna market kubwa sana kwa agriculture. In as much as it's challenging, hakuna kitu inakuanga rahisi. Si ndio? So thank you so much for coming to our show.
Nashukuru sana. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So you also mentor people, of course?
Yes, I do.
You mentor people, you teach people. For what you want to reach, Ajay?
I think the most reachable person on all social media platforms apart from Snapchat. Niko at Caleb Karuga. So I have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe. There's good content out there. TikTok, Caleb Karuga. Instagram at Caleb_Karuga. Twitter, everywhere. Basically just search Caleb Karuga. You find it. Facebook, kila mali niko apart from Snapchat.
All right. Interact na mwalimu. Sindio? Adios. So today we are going to be talking to Karuga of Wendy Farm. Who is Wendy?
Where Wendy? Is that your wife? Is that your girlfriend? Me mambo private wachana nayo.
It's a wrap.
Thank you.